If you make jewelry, you may have wondered if you really could use a bracelet mandrel, and if so, what kind? Wood or metal, tapered or stepped? In today's video, I'm going to go over the pros and cons of all those options. Hey there, creative people, Sandy here. Welcome to another Friday Findings video at keepsakecrafts.net. The nice folks at BB Craft sent along these two bracelet mandrels for me to show you and tell you all about. These happen to be both wood mandrels, and as you can see, they are rather different in style. This one is tapered with a smooth side, and this one is stepped. So these from lip to lip are parallel sides, whereas this is tapered all along its entire length. And they both have pros and cons. I will say I wasn't real impressed with this one from BB Craft. It came with a chip, and then there was like a sticker on there. I don't know. Looks like it has been removed. I'm sure a little Goo Gone will take care of that. They both have a light satin finish on them. Now these are both round, as you can see. They do make oval mandrels, which may fit better and help your bracelets keep your bracelets from flipping around. But if you're selling, people usually expect bracelets to be round unless it's a cuff bracelet. So the benefits of having a wooden mandrel over a steel one is that steel ones are heavy. And if you spend a lot of time working on them, you may get fatigued. You'll probably need some way of holding it. The wooden ones are, of course, less heavy, but you can't hammer on them nearly as aggressively as you can on the steel ones. These ones, you could put something like one of my copper bangles on and then hammer on that lightly, maybe to get it back into shape, because it seems to be quite not round at the moment, just from me wearing it. So you could form bracelets, and you can do light hammering on the wood. It will get dented and dinged. And I actually can I'm using this right now to just kind of reshape this bracelet back to more of a round shape. But you could definitely hammer on it, like I said, lightly. You can't wail away on it like you can on a metal hammer and really create some serious texture or do a major amount of shaping. So that's something to keep in mind, is the kind of work you're doing. Now, when working on a tapered mandrel, if you're doing something with any width to it, probably anything wider than this, you'll want to keep flipping your piece around, because otherwise you're going to build a taper into it. That's the benefit of a stepped mandrel, that you don't have to do that. However, you can see right here the limitations of a stepped mandrel is that you only have certain sizes. You only have these specific sizes to work with, and you can't get the increments. One thing I did with this stepped mandrel, as soon as I got it, I got out a tape measure and a Sharpie, and I wrote the dimensions that I have on here. Now, as far as bracelet making, these are pretty good dimensions for all the different sizes, down from a men's or a fairly large bracelet down to a child's. And if you're forming something on this one, because these sides are parallel and not tapered, you don't have to worry about your piece not being parallel. So what kinds of things can you do with either of these? Well, you can use them for sizing. I'll talk more about that in a minute. You can use them for designing, just to see, how is something going to look in the round. You can use it to make wire work frames in sizes. If you need a circle that's a certain size, you can use this or this, depending on what you need. And by the way, if you have these measurements here and you want a circle that's a certain diameter, say you're making a wire frame for something, all you have to do to figure that out is divide this number by 3.14. So let's see, this 6.5 divided by pi. So this one is going to give you just a slightly more than 2-inch diameter circle. And you could even do that if you do more wire forming than bracelet making. You could write those numbers on here as well, and then you'll always have them. Now you can use these to form metal, but you can form other things. You could use these for polymer clay or metal clay. What you'd want to do is make a sleeve of paper that would go over your form, over your mandrel. to protect it from the clay and the clay from it. And then you can shape things on the piece of paper on the mandrel. Now, these don't have a tang on the end, which is a block of wood. You can see it here in the picture that you use for holding your mandrel in a bench vise or another holder. Now, if you hold it in a bench vise, it can be problematic because it only stays in one direction. And if you're working on a bracelet, you're probably going to want to turn it around and work around and around. So they do make some pretty cool holders for those. So the benefits of each. Well, for the tapered, you can make bangles round. So you can slide something down like I was doing and get it back into round. And you have finer increments of size. If there's a size you work with all the time, you can use a Sharpie and draw a line around at that point so that you always have it as a reference. The benefits of the stepped are that they're good for planning, like a multi-strand bracelet, so that you know that each is the same length. Another thing you can use this for is as a photo prop. It actually looks really nice. You just throw a few bracelets on there, and it's a great way of displaying bracelets or even necklaces or other things without having your hand in there and your wrist. It's kind of awkward to take a photo of your own wrist. Photos taken this way give more of a feel of that this is something that would be worn on a wrist. I wouldn't buy one of these just for that, but it's certainly a good use. Now, these mandrels were both $11.99 at BB Craft. And if you buy stainless steel ones, although of course they're going to last longer, be more durable, you can do more hammering and work on them. You can solder on them, which I wouldn't recommend on these. The stainless steel mandrels can be $30, $40 and up, depending on the size and the brand. And they also come in tapered and stepped. Also, this tapered one gives you a little bit more of a range from end to end. The tapered is at the very smallest up here, 4 5/8 in diameter, and at the widest down here is 9 inches in diameter. So if that's important, that's something to keep in mind. And of course, again, it depends on the brand that you purchase. One of my favorite things, though, about using a mandrel like this is getting sizes right. And I'll show you what I mean. Sizing can be tricky with bracelets because you can have two bracelets, and if they are different thicknesses, they need to be different lengths. These two bracelets, this little gold charm bracelet, and this one, I did a video showing how to make this. I'll link that. Fit me exactly the same. However, this one is about 1.5 inches longer. And that's because it really isn't the length that matters in sizing a bracelet. It is the inside diameter. Because if you think about it, you're making it to fit a round or ovalish shape. And so what matters is what is in here. And if you have something very thick, if you have very thick beads or a thick cord, then you need more length in order to get the inside diameter that you need. So I'll show you what I mean. Like I said, these bracelets both fit me exactly the same, and I'll show you that. So here I'm going to pop this one on the mandrel. Get that out of the way. I was given this bracelet by my husband many years ago, and he and my boys for a while there were regularly adding charms to it, but then the price of gold kind of went bonkers. I don't know, it was a little over a decade ago. And nobody has gotten Mama any gold charms for a while. It is too rich. So there's that one. Now you might be amazed to see that this fits exactly the same. And it's not just that that bracelet is stopping it. It is stopping in the same place. So that can be really helpful to you if you need to make a bracelet that's an exact size for a customer or a gift, to have this to test on and practice on. Now that I have them, I suspect I'll be using them a lot. It's not a huge investment for the wooden ones. Good to try out and see if you like it enough, and if you do enough metal forming to maybe purchase metal ones in the future. If you're interested in the things I mentioned in this video, I'll have a link to my blog post in the description box, also in the upper right of the video, where there will be product links and link to the videos that I mentioned in this video. So happy creating.